How's it going, you lot? I'm just finishing off packing one of these boxes. This one, believe it or not, is going all the way to America. It's going to Savannah in Georgia, which is incredible. 4,186 something miles away. Absolutely amazing. Inside here is a model car. It's one of the ones, well, it is, well, I say one of, there's none left now. All the others have all gone. This is the last one to be won by some viewers on the other channel. And I'm really excited about sending it off all the way to America. I've received some parcels in the past from America. I think the last one I got was from Tennessee. Very nice chap called Crazy Dad Nitro. He sent me some engines and some exhausts and stuff. It cost me quite a lot of money in imports, but I've made sure that the person that's receiving this, there is no import taxes or nothing. They're all paid in advance because it was part of a competition. It was part of a competition, and you know, it should be as easy as possible to obtain if it's part of a competition. I'm going to put some stickers inside this as well, because whenever I sell or give away or send a prize, I always include stickers. I just think it's a fun thing to do, really. I haven't got very many left now. I had some really cool ones. They were like, they were red and they had a skull on them. I don't know if I've got one around here to demonstrate. I don't think I stuck any anywhere, believe it or not. I think I gave them all out. But they were red writing, bubble writing with a skull, and it was really good. I love them ones. These ones were done by a company called Briefcase Graphics. They were very well done. Very pleased with them. But the design just wasn't quite there, but because I don't think they want to talk to me anymore, to be fair. I've asked them. Somebody must have told them that I thought that they wasn't very good, because we were getting on quite well, chatting, talking away in the old emails and that, discussing designs and future sticker previews and purchases, whatever. And I did mention in a video that I wasn't very pleased with the design, but because they'd spent so much time doing it, I went ahead anyway and bought them, blah blah blah. Next thing, they just stopped talking to me. When they won't reply to any messages anymore, any emails. So I've obviously upset them, which is a bit of a shame, but never mind. There'll be other sticker printing companies out there. Right, I've got another package, another box that I'm currently boxing up as well. It's a bit of a crazy parcelness around here for some reason. This is just going to be, I don't want to show too much what's going to go in that one, because that one's a surprise. The person who I'm going to send that to doesn't know they're going to get it. It's going to be a surprise, but I do know that they watch this channel as well as the other one. So if they might happen to, well, anyway, they don't know who it is. Doesn't matter, it's still going to be a surprise, because if they get a random box turn up and they've watched this video and I show you what's in it, they'll then know what's in the box because they've watched the video, and they'll be like, that's the box that was in that video, I know what's in it. I want it to be a surprise. Anyway, I'm going to write on this and catch you in a minute. You know, it's actually industry standard these days to use clear tape. The amount of clear tape that I must buy is incredible. But if all things go to plan, I'll be buying a hell of a lot more, because I plan on doing quite a lot of these sorts of competitions. I find them great fun. I actually find them great fun to do. Right from setting it up to putting the word out, seeing people taking part. I can see why, you know, the lottery and all other competitions are out there, because it's great fun to set all that kind of stuff up. And to see that someone's actually winning something that I've put together. Unbelievable. Anyway, gonna make this durable to make sure that it can actually withstand going 4,000 miles across the world. Airmail. Incredible, eh? Just think, hundreds of years ago, if you wanted to send something, you wouldn't have had parcels, because I don't think they'd invented cardboard boxes back then. But if you wanted to send anything, like a gorilla, a giraffe, a monkey, anything to another country, you'd have just literally had to put it in like a wooden cage thing, put it on a boat where it would have taken months to go across the sea, if it made it, that was, in the first place. Whereas nowadays, if you want to send something across the world, all you got to do is put it inside one of these tree boxes and hand it to somebody in the post office. And before you know it, 2-3 days later, it's there. It's mad. Absolutely bonkers. Had someone send me something from Australia a few years ago. Well, that blew my mind. Australia. Literally Australia. Unbelievable. And we think Australia's underneath our feet. It's not. China's underneath our feet. Australia's over there somewhere. But it's still mad. That's like a 24-hour flight. Probably more. I don't know. I've never been there. But I'd love to go. This is my next little project. So we got a pull start where the springs come out, and the spring's now inside this envelope, so we're going to have some fun trying to get that back in. I might try and do that in a moment. And then we've got to see if this is actually going to even run. It's a Kyosho Pure 10 Alpha, and it looks much the same as the one I sold a few months ago, but I don't think it is the same one. It's got the same shell, but I don't think it's the same car. And somebody's put a roto start on it, but the trouble is you can't get to the roto start because the nitro tank's in the way. So we've got to fix this pull start in order to see whether this engine's any good. And once we know if the engine's any good, we know if we can go any further with it. It's got different suspension on it. In fact, it's got different from the standard suspension, but also the front's different to the back, which is bizarre. And the air filter needs to be changed because that starting to fall apart. Look, that's what happens to foam when you leave it for some time. It all starts to perish and come apart, so that'll need to be changed, but we can just take it off to see if it's going to start. But that's my next little project. I'm working towards that one. That's one's going to come up next, and once I get the boxes and other stuff out of the way. This one turned out to be an absolute dream. This one's fantastic. I haven't taken it for a drive yet, but what I've done was I drilled little holes in these body posts so that we can stick our clips in them. And the front already had these plastic body posts that come with it when it was new anyway. And we just unhook the exhaust. I put a nice purple antenna tube on it, which has just come off. Hold on, 2 hands. Yeah, so there we go. Look, I've taken the shell off. Now this turned out to be a bloody dream. I might change that air filter because I'm not a big fan of that air filter. I've still got the cobwebs and the fairies I didn't clean off. I still need to give it a nice clean. We've got some dirt down there and that. I didn't get round to that the other day. But I got it to run and it started up straight away, just as the person who sent it to me said that it would do. And that was great. The suspension feels really nice on it. I really like these Thunder Tigers. Fantastic cars. And to be honest, it looks like it's had minimal use. There's a few scratches as you would expect with a touring car, but I think it's had minimal use. I don't know what that is underneath in there. We'll have to have a look at that. Looks like an old Leaf which has got oil and nitro all over it, but it needs a jolly good clean, which I'm still going to do. But I set the throttle up. The throttle and brakes now is set up absolutely perfectly. With my RustySkull radio, I was going to say compared to, that's not weird, is it? And everything's just mint with it. I can't wait to go and give it a test drive. And with that Subaru shell as well, it looks great. And with these wheels and tyres to match. Absolutely fantastic. And I was informed that it's got a new belt on the front. So that is a new belt. Well, there's only one belt that goes, oh no. a little belt there. So this one here, the longer one, that's a brand new belt which goes from there. Great. That's, you know, you can say that that's good, or you can say that's bad that they're belt driven. I mean, back when I was a kid, these were bad that they were belt driven, because we mistreated them quite a lot. I mean, we were always driving them through deep water and puddles and stuff like that, which meant the belts would start to slip after a while. Even though they are toothed belts, they've got teeth on the belts. They're not like ridged, they're actually tooth belts. But if they go through enough water and you keep the power down, they will start to slip. Once they slip, then the teeth get worn and they fall off, and then that's when you do your belt. Also, when they get wet, they can perish quite a lot. So if we went through a lot of water and puddles and mud and that, didn't clean them, and then the belts would perish and then they'd snap. So that was bad when we were kids and we were mistreating the cars. Now, as an adult, I don't mistreat them. I look after them. So I quite like the fact that it's belt driven, because it's just interesting and different. Because nowadays, a lot of cars, pretty much, well, every car that I can think of, there might be some out there which aren't prop driven, but near enough all of them are props. They got a prop shaft, sometimes two prop shafts, because they got a centre diff, but they're pretty much all shaft driven cars these days, which is nice. I like it. However, belt driven is something really cool. I don't know how old this particular car is. I mean, if I had to hazard a guess, I would say it's probably from the early 2000s, pre-2010 I would say, but I don't know for sure. I'm not very clued up on this particular model of Thunder Tiger. To be fair with you, I don't even know what the actual model is. That's something I don't particularly care about, but there we go. So I think I'm going to have a little go at that pole starter now to see if I can wind that, put that spring back on and wind it back in, because that will determine the way my evening goes. With it being 20 to 8 on a Thursday evening, I think to myself, do I really want to be messing around trying to get a car running? I don't know. If I can get that pull start to wind, the spring to go in and to be a pull start again relatively easy, then I think I'm going to try and get that whole car to run. How do you think it's going to go? I don't know. I think we should definitely go and find out. I was going to play around and try and get the bike set up and put the radios and everything on the back of the bike ready for the weekend. But now some plans have come up for the weekend that I didn't foresee, so I'm not going to be able to do that. So I'm not even going to bother trying to set that up. Let's play with a pull start instead, shall we? I think we definitely should. And you know what I miss doing? Lawnmowers. But there's some stuff in the pipeline there where there could be some lawnmowers coming up, strimmers coming up, and diggering coming up. You never know. Could be doing quite a lot of repair work soon. I'm really bloody looking forward to it. Getting out of this place and going and actually doing some repair work on some mowers, strimmers and possibly mini diggers is going to be great fun. Can't wait. So, for those of you that might not be particularly familiar, this is how a pull start works for one of these little nitro engines, and in a nutshell they're all fairly similar. Some of them are more difficult than others. For example, these ones I don't generally touch because they're a pain in the backside. However, some people love doing them. I personally don't. These ones are a bit more old school, and I'm going to jinx myself now, but they're a little bit more simpler. All you got to do is get this part hooked inside that little circle there, wind the spring around, and then get the end of it hooked wherever it's gone. Where does that hook? Oh no, nothing's broken. There's normally a little, there it is, hooks in that little there, and that keeps it all sturdy, and then you've got yourself a pull start. And what holds it in place is this little thing that kind of just goes, it looks like, no, I thought that was snapped then. That just goes on the side of it there, just to keep everything in place. So I'm going to wrestle with a spring. Now there's a lot of pull starts on strimmers, chainsaws and other things, and lawnmowers and that, which adopt the same sort of thing. It's just a miniature version basically. Anyway, a Thursday evening I thought to myself, let's play with a bloody pull start. Of course I did. Two things that I hate: brakes particularly drum brakes, and pull starts. Let me see what I can do. The battery's going to run out of camera in a minute anyway. So these ones are relatively easy. All we got to do is get it run the right way. Get that little end of it in that little groove, and then we just wind it up. I've got to wind the spring in like that. I had it a minute ago, but I didn't put the little retaining thing on, and I went to go and get the camera to show you lot, and I turned around and it went and I knew I should have put that little retaining clip thing on, but it's worked out alright because it means that I can show you winding it up. So you wind this up like that, and then you got to make sure obviously that you bloody hooked under my t-shirt, make sure that you wind the spring and the string the right way, because obviously if you do it the wrong way, then obviously it's not going to work, is it? Because when you pull it, it's going to go the wrong way. But not only that, it turned the engine the wrong way, but not only that, the spring won't work, because the spring will be going backwards and it won't work. It'll just bend the end of the spring and then it won't grip anymore. And that, my friends, is not good, because then you'll ruin the spring. I think springs are mad. Springs are actually mad, aren't they? Like wound up pieces of bloody energy, and they're actually crazy. So once you've got that in there, provided you don't knock it too hard, that'll just stay in there. And then you've got to make sure you wind it the right way, and I always wind them the wrong bloody way. It needs to go, I always wind them the wrong way and then think to myself, what am I doing? So it needs to go that way round, I think. I'm pretty sure it is that way round. So we put the string all the way up like that, and then we wind this up nice and tight. So now we've wound the spring, and now we're winding the string nice and tightly. Now replace that, and we've got to hook that little hook that you probably can't see because it's probably too dark, but there's a little hook in there. You hook it on that little thing I showed you earlier, and wind that in as tight as possible. Hook that on there, and hopefully now, there we go. I'm holding it on with my finger so that it doesn't pop out, but look, we pull it in, pull it out, and it winds back in. Not very well, mind you. I think that spring's a bit dicky. Might have to put a little bit of preload on that spring just so it goes all the way in, but there we go. My giddy aunt, it is absolutely wringing wet with sweat here. It's bloody hot. Well, it's not hot, it's just really humid. I think we're hopefully due for a good old rain and thunderstorm fairly soon. But there we go. That pull start is now together. You have to be a little bit delicate with these style of pull starts because they can come apart at the top there if you knock them around too much, even though they've got that little retaining thing there. Being held on with a one-way bearing, held onto an engine, is what holds all the spring together really. Otherwise, if this lifts up a little bit, that spring will pop out underneath, and then you'll have to take it apart and rewind it all over again. So, well, that's good enough for me. I'm going to take this apart now, take the engine out and put that pull start back on, get rid of that roto start, and see what the crack is with this engine, see whether it's actually going to go. So, but before I do that, I've got to go and charge up the camera, because the battery's a bit low on this camera. It's flashing at me saying, hey, I need to be charged. So I'm going to catch you once it's done. If you want to see the whole process of me taking this apart, I'll put a link to that video in the description to this video, and you can go and have a look to see the whole thing being taken apart and put together again and hopefully running, fingers crossed. I think it was a non-runner. That's why this pull start fell apart. Don't know whether because the engine wouldn't start, wouldn't run, and they put a rotor start on it and then realised they couldn't get to it. I don't really know what the story is with it, but anyway, gonna go and put some juice in the camera, and I'll see you in a bit. Well, the pull start worked. I got it going, but I had to massacre my other one. This is my actual one that I got from magazines when I was a kid, more than 20 years old. I built it myself. Every part of this I built. I had to take apart the pull start off of it because the one-way bearing in this roto start was a different size for the roto start than it is for the pull start, so I had to take that apart and put it together. But it runs, and it runs bloody brilliant. So the next step is to get a battery and test the servos and then go and give it a test drive. But I'm bloody happy with that. Thanks for watching, you lot. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care, all the best.